wanted. OPEC and the other major producers agreed to extend production cuts to the end of the year. The initial cuts came into effect at the start of this year. You can see the way the price of Brent crude just came off a tad, as it has done. But the overarching trend, Brent crude has rallied above $60 a barrel ever since the summer. It's been a particularly upward stream, more than double the lows hit in 2016. It's not enough, though, for some oil producers. A busy day of talks in Vienna. John Defterios is in Vienna for us. They got what they wanted, John. Now they've just got to keep the discipline to ensure that price doesn't come back down again.
I think it's fair analysis on your part, Richard. Two of the biggest producers in the world came here with their differences. They didn't divorce. And in fact, one could even argue they got closer together. You don't forget now, Saudi Arabia and Russia a year ago signed the agreement to cut 1.8 million barrels off the market. They're going to roll it over for a full year and say they want to even have better compliance. Now, the Russians came in worried about the spike in prices that would open the door to more shale production. So I asked Alexandr Novak, the minister, why did you come around to the Saudi position and change strategy? Let's take a listen.
What I want to say is that our objective is to actually remove the inventory overhang, not to overheat the market in any way. When we see that rebalancing is happening, when it moves faster, we always have the option to sit down together, look at the market fundamentals, look at what adjustments we need to do. The reason why we're extending by 9 months is that we're sending a signal to the market saying that we will do what it takes to reach rebalancing and that we're ready to do it.
There was some daylight between the Russian and Saudi position coming in, but at the closing press conference, to my question, you went out of your way to show that Saudi Arabia and Russia are very much aligned. What is the strategy here behind this?
I mean, I don't think I'll be too far off if I say that we are at a very high level in our relationship, possibly historically high level. And you can see that from many external signs. Mr. Putin and the king, they talk regularly. They discuss things over the phone. And I'm sure that you remember quite well the historic visit of the king to Russia, which happened just recently. And this relationship continues, these contacts continue. But also, please don't forget that I'm not just responsible for energy partnership and energy relationships. As the co-head of the Intergovernment Commission with Russia and Saudi Arabia, I'm also responsible for developing our trade ties, for developing our economic relationships. And I can tell you that we have a lot going on in this space. So once again, I just want to stress that we are at a very high point in our relationship and we see more room for growth there.
John Defterios, this relationship between OPEC producers and non-OPEC producers, it has been the fractious nature of that which has led to the collapse and oversupply in the future. So holding this together is vital. Where do they see the price maintaining?
Ideally, Richard, they can keep this band of $60 to $65 a barrel. Above that, of course, is going to welcome not only the shale producers, but the deep water projects in Brazil and Africa that they don't want to try to come back into the market. It was interesting. Minister Al-Faleh of Saudi Arabia said to me during the opening session today, look, we've had a great realization. We can't rebalance the market on our own. Saudi Arabia or OPEC. That's why we like the Russia partnership. Russia doesn't want the market to overheat as well. So hopefully they can keep the alliance together. It's 24 now, Richard, but they had 6 observers here. I think they want to expand the club to try to stand up to shale. Don't forget, next year, the U.S. is going to cross 10 million barrels a day. Put Saudi, Russia, and the U.S. on the same plane, very competitive with each other.
John Defterios, thank you.